Grug Crood versus the Indominus Rex, possibly the stupidest debate that I have ever thought of. To properly determine the winner, we must first discuss the strength of these two characters. The best source that I was able to find regarding the strength of Grug would be from this video that determines that Grug lifting the mobile home as well as a large rabbit would result in him being capable of lifting over 50 plus tons. Now, for when discussing the physical strength of the Indominus Rex, it is actually far easier to determine, because during its battle at the end of the film, the Indom is able to drag, knock over, and partially lift Rexy, who, according to the official sources, weighs between 7 to 9 tons. The next important factor that must be discussed would be that of speed. The exact travel speed of Grug is shown by this exact scan that calculates his speed to be exactly 45 meters per second, or 162 kilometers per second. According to official sources, the top speed of the Indom is only 48 kilometers per hour. The next important factor that needs to be discussed for these two characters would be that of destructive capacity. When discussing Jurassic Park power scaling, one of the main two feats that are mainly used is from the second movie, in which the main dinosaur is able to heavily damage a bus. This feat has most consistently been calculated to be around 0.85 tons of TNT, or building level. The Indominus would upscale off of this via using inverse scaling. Now, when discussing the power of Grug, that is shown in the first Croods movie, the first feat that can be used from how Grug was able to tank being hit by a bolt of lightning, with this being important because a bolt of lightning can produce 1,000,000,000 joules of energy, which is around 0.24 tons of TNT, or small building plus. The next line of scaling that can be used is actually from this video that calculates Grug kicking a log to be 3 billion joules, as well as showing how Grug's punches would be 1.2 billion joules due to human punches being 2.5 times weaker than kicks on average. The final important factor that must be discussed will be the hacks and abilities of these two characters. Okay, what exactly do you want me to say? Because I think it's pretty obvious that the 7-meter tall murder monster that can turn invisible, change its body temperature, has thermal vision, and can communicate with other species, has more abilities than the overprotective cave dad. Now that we have determined the essential factors, we can now discuss the actual battle itself. Now, when we look at the destructive capacity of these two characters, you would initially think that the Indominus would have a massive advantage over Grug. But if we compare the two estimates, it is actually shown that the difference is actually insignificant. For example, a character needs to be at minimum 8 to 10 times stronger than another character to one-shot them. The two factors that would result in Grug potentially winning this battle would be due to his severe strength and speed advantage. When it comes to strength, Grug can lift over 6.4 times more than the indom, with him being over 3.375 times faster than the indominus. So, the way that I can imagine grug using this advantage would be by avoiding the indom's attacks, picking it up, and repeatedly slamming and throwing the dinosaur into hard surfaces, like buildings or rock surfaces. A possible way that the Indominus Rex could potentially win an encounter with Grug would be by its using its abilities and superior battle intelligence to catch Grug off guard. This can be done by the hybrid using its camouflage ability. I would also like to mention that Grug seems to do very poorly against new threats, with this being evident from his encounter with the monkeys from the first film. Now that I have discussed the possible win conditions that these two combatants could both potentially have, we must now come to a final verdict. The winner is Grug, Crood.